right. The World According to Steph, Chapter 26 on a new PC. And I hope that this is much clearer. I hope the sound is good. And we're going to find out. It's going to be a short one. I have a doctor's appointment this afternoon, which I must go to. Oops. I need to shut that off. But anyway, the point is that um, I am going to go to it because I'm going to drive myself, and I have to warn people that, uh-oh, she's going to be on the road because I don't feel good. And uh, not feeling well is and makes it more difficult to drive, and I have tremors. And so I could be dangerous, but I hope to God that I'm not, okay? I pray that I'm not. I trust in my Creator's ability to get me there. Now, this is going to be in two parts. This is part one. And I have been on the internet in a limited fashion because if I go public, I find that I'm having some very serious difficulties. And these are difficulties with people who are, apparently I'm getting through to some of the people. They see my videos or whatever. And when you start having people attack you for no apparent reason, then that's an indication that, we're making sense, or we're doing something pretty cool or right here. And we're putting fear into them. So what do? They attack, right? Mm-hmm. And see, when another entity or group or person is in fear, generally what they are designed to do as a human being is, rather than let it go and go on with their lives, they attack. Now, I'm speaking from my own experience on this. I have been attacked ruthlessly throughout my life. And this is not just some fictional crap that I've come up with. This is the truth. If you read my story, you'll get a pretty good idea of how I even grew up. Now, and some of the shares on Google Plus right now are very interesting, and I have been responding to a lot of the limited friends or limited shares that I see. I'm being careful because I must, and as I said, if I don't, I become attacked, and all the rest of you can see the craziness of this attack. It is crazy. And it's ridiculous. So I found a way, I hope, to keep it from expanding or becoming more difficult. Okay, now let's talk about the spiritual aspects of what I believe is coming our way. Okay, here's what I think is coming our way. Everybody knows about the Mayan calendar, right? Now, some people may actually believe that our world is going to come to an end. No, I don't believe that at all. Far from it. I had a video that was excellent. It described the up-to-date stuff that is actually probably going on. And when you look at the news, and even though I believe the news is being controlled right now, and that's all I'm going to say about that, but even in a controlled arena, the news is, talking about, for instance, senators not being able, or no voting and no new bills and no. It's like the Senate took a vacation. Okay, it's as simple as that. Well, they have nothing to do now because our government has changed dramatically. Some people feel that we are already in the state of martial law. You just don't realize it, but you will. If the things that I saw in this video come true, and I suspect that a lot of them will based on what I've seen lately, I subscribe to USA.gov, I'm sorry, .gov, because my son is really is a hero, died for his country, and so USA.gov likes for me to know what's going on, and they like for me to be subscribed to them, so I do. And I received a couple of days ago a very interesting uh, item that I shared, and nobody paid much attention to it, which of course I expect that. No, I have no expectations actually. I don't know what I expect, but I figure God's going to take care of that. I am not going to have to worry about it. In fact, I am not going to have to worry about anything, and that is what this is all about. This is the first of a new series that I'm going to start. We're going to say 26 to whenever I think we're done, okay? And we're going to combine it with, believe it or not, Sermon on the Mount, because it is so important. Now, if our spirituality is flowing good, we're really in sync with ourselves, we'll have no fear, none whatsoever. We'll be in a wonderful place. I guarantee you that. You don't have to trust me when I say this. This is all based on me, not you, but me and my relationship with my Creator. But what I would like to see, what would be wonderful, is that everybody else develops their own relationship with their Creator. Now, in having that relationship, I meditate, I pray, and I always rely on all my needs from my God, my Creator. Okay? And I've been told in almost every holy book I've ever read that that's exactly what will happen. The lilies of the field. We read about that. Now I'm going to read something real quick as I can, because I'm going to have to leave here pretty soon. I got a new computer and it took forever to install a lot of things. There's a reason for that. All of the programming, I had to literally sign in to get it. I had to agree to things that I would never have agreed to before. But I knew it was coming because of that, partially because of what the research that I've come up with, and partially because of some of the videos I've seen, and another reason is some of the things I've seen written about what is coming. One thing I would like to remind people about, there's something called HARP, H-A-A-R-P. Now, that stands for something, and I don't have that written down. Next time I visit with you, I'll tell you exactly what it stands for. But what it is we send up like microwave beams. I'm putting it in the simplest form right now. Okay, so if you're a scientist or whatever, please give me a break here. I'm a scientist of computer science. I am not a physics scientist, even though I love physics. But this is what my understanding is of it. My understanding is that if they are able through massive amounts of energy, to send up energy waves into the ionosphere. They can do a lot of things by doing that. And now it's not just our country, and we have an outlet for this in Alaska. Our Air Force is doing this. Okay. Now I know the history of it, but I'm not going to get into that right now. The reason I bring it up is because there's some talk that um, around the time of the Mayan calendar doomsday predictions that the government or somebody, well, the military is going to start using this HAARP, HARP is what we call it, to send beams of energy into the ionosphere. Now that sounds like, like Star Trek-y or something, but this is the truth. It does exist. I've got all kinds of information on it. And you can find it yourself in YouTube. It's out there, trust me. Now, some of the good programs on it have been deleted, but I do have some of those good programs. But anyway, what that's going to do, though, it's not just our country. Remember this. It's several countries, and it's a coalition of countries. Trust me on that. And they've got it now where they'll be able to hit different areas of the world. And they're going to try to make it look like, I don't know what they're going to do, to be honest with you. But I do know that they're going to try to instill fear into us. Okay? And what have I said about fear? False evidence appearing real. We have to remember that. Okay? So I wanted to bring that up because if you see, your ministers might even be involved in this a little bit. And I'm not putting any ministers down, trust me. I honor and respect anybody for who they are and what they are. Even the ones that attack me, I still have honor and respect for them. But the point is that by using fear or some form of coercion, they can get things put in people's minds. Okay? And I want you to remember that. Remember that you have a choice to not believe it, to not go along with it, to remember who you are and where you're from and what our country originally came from and what it stands for on a spiritual level and on a material level. We have to address it on both levels now. Okay, I want to read something that I got into. I said we'd start with this. It's chapter 6 of Sermon on the Mount, the key to success in life. With what measure ye meet, judge not, that ye be not judged. For with what judgment ye judge, ye shall be judged. And with what measure ye meet, it shall be measured to you again. And why beholdest thou the mote that is in thy brother's eye, but considerest not the beam that is in thy own eye? Or how wilt thou say to thy brother, let me pull out the mote out of thine eye, and behold, a beam is in thine own eye? Thou hypocrite, first cast out the beam out of thy own eye, and then shalt thou see clearly to cast out the mote out of thy brother's eye. Okay. That's Matthew 7, by the way, in the Bible. This section of the Sermon on the Mount consists of 5 short verses and only about 100 words, and yet it is hardly too much to say that at its simple face value, it is the most staggering document ever presented to mankind. In these 5 verses, we are told more about the nature of man and the meaning of life and the importance of conduct and the art of living and the secret of happiness and success and the way out of trouble and the approach to God and the emancipation of the soul and the salvation of the world than all the philosophers and the theologians and the savants put together have told us. For it explains the great law. And by the way, great law is in uppercase. Okay? Whenever Emmett did that, that was meaning very, very, very important. Now, that was all one sentence, and it took a whole paragraph for it to write out. Okay? A huge amount of things. All right? He listed a huge amount of things right there. So all the next stuff that I'm going to tell you about before this Mayan calendar thing, you already know. But I hope to give you a little different viewpoint of it. I hope to give you a little more involved viewpoint, something to help your soul, as he said. Okay, it is vastly more important that a man, and still more that a child, should be taught the meaning of these 5 verses than that he should learn anything else that is taught in schools or colleges. There is nothing to be found in any ordinary courses of study. There is nothing to be learned in any library or any laboratory that is 1/1,000,000th part as important as the information contained herein. If it were ever possible to justify the fanatical saying, burn the rest of the books, for it is all in this one, it would be in reference to those words. Judge not, that ye be not judged. For with what judgment ye judge, ye shall be judged. And with what measure ye meet, it shall be measured to you again. If the average man understood for a single moment the meaning of these words, and really believed them to be true, they would immediately revolutionize his whole life from top to bottom, turn his everyday conduct inside out, and so change him that in a comparatively short space of time his closest friends would hardly know him. Whether he were the prime minister in the cabinet or the man in the street, this understanding would turn the world upside down for him. And because the thing is infectious beyond computing, it would turn the world upside down for many, many others as well. Again and again we are struck with amazement upon reading the Sermon on the Mount with a fresh mind, to find how completely its most challenging statements have been quietly ignored in practice by the bulk of the Christian world. If one did not know for a fact that these words are constantly heard in public and read in private by millions and millions of Christians of all sorts, he could hardly believe it to be possible. For the truths which they teach seem to be the last consideration to enter into people's motives in everyday life and conduct. And yet they express the simple and inescapable law of life, capitalized, law of life. The plain fact is that it is the law of life that as we think and speak and act towards others, so will others think and speak and act towards us. Whatever sort of conduct we give out, that we are inevitably bound to get back. Anything and everything that we do to others will sooner or later be done to us by someone, somewhere. The good that we do to others, we shall receive back in like measure. And the evil that we do to others in like manner, we shall receive back too. This does not in the least mean that the same people whom we treat well or ill will be the actual ones to return the action. That almost never happens. But what does happen is that at some other time or place, often far away, and long afterwards, someone else who knows nothing whatever of the previous action will nevertheless repay it, grain for grain, to us. For every unkind word that you speak to or about another person, an unkind word will be spoken to or about you. For every time that you cheat, you will be cheated. For every time that you deceive, you will be deceived. For every lie that you utter, you will be lied to. Every time that you neglect a duty, or evade a responsibility, or misuse authority over other people, you are doing something for it which will inevitably have to pay by suffering a like injury. With what measure ye meet, it shall be measured to you again. I'm going to stop there. There's a lot more. And I think y'all get the idea, right? And I know that many of you are Christians and you do read this stuff. But you need to understand the importance of this. This is one of the biggest things that came to our earth. And that's what Emmett is trying to tell us. It's one of the biggest, most important things that came to us, that was given to us freely. So I'm going to end it for now. This is part 1 of Foundations chapter 26, okay? Now wait a minute. I'm sorry. I did it again. Chapter 27. Been dealing with a new computer, so bear with me. That's been quite a obstacles in a lot of ways. But I love y'all, and I'll have the next chapter real quick. Love ya. Bye-bye.